On YouTube. Okay, so you're using QuickBooks Desktop for now. So hello to everybody on YouTube. We're now live over here on YouTube as well as on TikTok because we are technologically savvy in here. We're fancy, okay? You need to get the certified payroll reports. What do you mean by certified, friend? So I'm accepting comments and questions about QuickBooks on both TikTok and YouTube Live. January is a busy time of year for bookkeepers, for accountants. You might think, like, oh, tax season is just getting started. Bookkeeping is the busiest it is all year in the month of January because we're processing year-end payroll, W-2s, 1099s are getting sent out. We have to close out the books before we can do either of those things, right? For all of my clients. And so that's a lot of people. So we're pretty busy right now, but we are definitely making sure that we show up and answer questions for the folks who are on my platform. So if you can uh, clarify what you mean by certified payroll reports. Okay, Desktop has a report for my prevailing wage jobs. It creates it very easily for me. QuickBooks Online does or did not have it. Okay, yeah. So Desktop has a lot of different types of reports. And remember that even if you don't see a default report that is going to work for you still have the capacity or the ability to customize your reports. And there's a lot of customization options on both desktop and on QuickBooks Online. So for QuickBooks Desktop, I have not used it really in many years. I primarily work with folks that use QuickBooks Online right now. And the desktop payroll reports, um, you would need to be probably more specific about what exactly you're wanting. So, desktop has a report for my prevailing wage jobs. It creates it very easily for me. Yeah. And so, are you asking if QuickBooks Online has the same kind of um, report? Also, if you can do me a favor, guys, and go ahead and hit that share button down below and repost the live for me, that would be amazing. Yes. Okay. So, QuickBooks Online payroll reports are not as good as QuickBooks Desktop reports. Sorry to say, but QuickBooks Desktop is much meatier when it comes to reporting. Um, QuickBooks Online, it kind of depends on which subscription level you have as well, because some of the subscription levels don't have the reports that are totally customizable the same way that they are on QuickBooks Desktop. If you upgrade your subscription on QuickBooks Online, you have access to more customizable reports. But if you've been around here for a while or you've listened to me in any capacity, you probably know I really don't like QuickBooks Online payroll. I like QuickBooks Online, right, as a bookkeeping software. That's what I use for my own business. And right now, all of my clients that I manage the books for use QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online Payroll is an additional subscription to QuickBooks Online. It's an add-on. Okay. Do you foresee QuickBooks Online becoming more like the desktop before they really cancel the desktop? Um, no, because I think they've kind of maxed out desktop's abilities. Like Enterprise, QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise. There's like a couple of different versions that you can get into. Um, and I don't think people keep saying like, "Oh, they're gonna cancel desktop subscriptions," and I'm like, "Well, they've been saying that for like almost the entire time that I've been using QuickBooks, and I've been doing bookkeeping for 12 years, minus a few months. I'm coming up on 12 years of doing bookkeeping, and they've always said that. They've always been like, "We're gonna do away with QuickBooks Desktop, and we're trying to get everybody to move into QuickBooks Online." Thank you so much for getting your daily Heart Me business formation, boss. Welcome in. Thanks for tapping the screen, y'all. Um, hi. They've been saying that forever. Like, we're gonna go, QuickBooks Desktop is out. Everybody needs to get on QuickBooks Online. That's how they make their money, right? having a monthly or annual subscription. It used to be QuickBooks Desktop, you just paid for the app one time, and you didn't have to have a subscription to it. You had a subscription to the payroll add-on, but QuickBooks Desktop used to be something that you could just purchase. Remember the old days where you'd go to like Office Depot or even in Best Buy and you would buy the package that had the CD-ROM in it that you would like load into your computer and you'd install the application. Now they want QuickBooks Desktop to be on a subscription basis. They're trying to get money out of people. QuickBooks Desktop, it used to be that they would provide updates to the software for at least 3 years back. So you really only needed to re up and purchase the newer QuickBooks Desktop every 3 years. Um, but they're wanting to get everybody online, and they've been saying that for a long time. So I don't have any special information about if they're going to do away with QuickBooks Desktop. I know for some folks, they've used desktop for a long time. They're comfortable with it. They're familiar with it. They like the features in desktop. They don't necessarily want to learn a new system. And like Gigi's saying, it was wonderful and cheap, $400 for 3 years. Now it's $500 a month with the payroll robbery. I agree with you, friend. Okay, that's ridiculous. Nobody should be paying 500 a month for payroll. I will tell you that y'all know that I'm not like a QuickBooks affiliate or anything. I do excuse me. I am able to offer people subscriptions at a discounted rate, but I'm not here to like sell you on QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Online payroll at all. You do what you want to fucking do. QuickBooks Online payroll, we don't like that over here, right? The app that I like for payroll is called Gusto, Gusto. I guess some people pronounce it Gusto. But I think, like, anytime I've talked to their, developers or, like, their help desk, they pronounce it gusto. I know it's a Spanish word. Either way, I like that as a payroll option for small businesses. Gusto has a lot of really great things built into it. It operates kinda similarly to QuickBooks Online Payroll. I think QuickBooks Online Payroll is so much buggier. Like, I just have issue after issue with QuickBooks Online Payroll for my clients that use it, and I hate it. And Gusto is a comparable price, so you will pay a subscription fee monthly to have access to Gusto and to use it to run payroll for your business, but you're paying about the same as you would for QuickBooks Online payroll, and I think Gusto is just a better product. They also do like onboarding for you and your employees really well, and it will connect to your QuickBooks Online company so that your bookkeeping will have the accurate payroll data in it. So I have some clients that use Gusto and it is linked to their QuickBooks Online. We really never have any problems with Gusto. Knock on wood, okay? Fingers crossed. Like, for the most part, my clients that use Gusto really don't have any issue with that product. QuickBooks Online Payroll, however, is a thorn in my ass and I hate it. I bought your book but haven't gotten back to you. Do you help set up QuickBooks, Connie? Yes, I do, friend. So for those of you that have a messy QuickBooks, here's how this works. I am only able to take on so many clients for cleanup jobs. If you have a QuickBooks Online company, a business, and you're using QuickBooks Online and it is a mess and you're like, I just need somebody to fix it. I only have so much capacity to help clients out, okay? The reason I'm saying that is so that if that is something you want to do, then you need to get on the books with me. You need to get on the schedule with me. I'm only taking 2 cleanup clients a month. Okay. January is almost over. January, no. If you want to be somebody who's on the books for me, cleaning up your bookkeeping starting in February, you need to go ahead and click on the link in my profile, which is on TikTok, or if you're watching the YouTube live stream, you can go to my bio and visit my link tree. Get on a consultation with me. Okay. So the cleanup jobs, I'm only doing 2 cleanup jobs a month this year. That is the maximum capacity that I have for me going in and cleaning your messy QuickBooks up. Okay. You can always book a training with me. One-on-one trainings are also linked in my link tree in my profile. Um, and one-on-one trainings are hosted on Zoom where you and I meet together. We look at your QuickBooks. We work on what procedures you're doing in QuickBooks Online. Are you doing those things correctly? Do we need to make some adjustments? Do we need to break you of some habits that aren't serving you and that are causing more harm than good? Right? Connie, I recommend QuickBooks Online, but it kind of depends on what type of business you have too. I like QuickBooks Online for my business. I like working with clients that use QuickBooks Online because that allows me to have a certain type of accountant's access to their books where we do not have to trade like files or I don't have to remote desktop into your computer. I don't want to do any of that. Okay. So, travel industry. Yeah, QuickBooks Online would be a great option. It's easy to access from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. You can give a bookkeeper and a tax preparer access to your books. Um, there's a lot of automations that we can set up in QuickBooks Online so that you're having to do less work, which Connie, if you said you got the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, you can I want you to work through that first, regardless of if I end up cleaning up your books, right? Regardless if you do a training with me, I want you to get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. And have I linked it here? I thought I put it on the products list. Yeah, it's on there. Okay. So thank you so much, TaxDad, for sharing the live. Excuse me. Welcome into TaxDad, everybody. If you don't know TaxDad, if you don't follow TaxDad yet, make sure you connect with TaxDad. Number one, because he's hilarious. Thank you for the daily heartbeat. Number two, because he is helping content creators learn how to deal with the money that they make online. So if you're somebody that's making a bunch of money online, first of all, good for you. Second of all, get connected with TaxDad. Okay? Um, whether or not you have me do your books, whether or not you do a training with me, please get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. Okay, we all need to be on the same page about what it means to do our bookkeeping, how we're doing that, and it's going to help you out so much with setting up automations, setting up your books the right way. Oh my god, you guys, somebody wants some fucking attention in here. Oh no, they're not going to get it. Anyways, um okay. Get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. I don't know, somebody left a weird comment that they left a comment saying that they were gonna block me. Okay, bestie, then what are you doing here commenting and boosting the engagement of the live? I don't know. Seems like you got some wires crossed. That single brain cell is just rattling around up there in that skull making a bunch of noise, and the rest of us don't wanna hear it. Okay? So, get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit so that we can all be on the same page about what it means to do bookkeeping, how we do that, setting up automations, making sure your chart of accounts looks fantastic and beautiful and gorgeous. Okay. Get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. It is tagged right here in the live. If you're on TikTok, if you're watching the YouTube stream, you can go to the link in my profile or just visit my website, y'all. Thanks, Tax Dad. Have a nice evening. Appreciate you coming in and sharing, grading your daily heart me, tapping the screen, boosting the live, doing all the things. We so appreciate it. Friends, if you're a QuickBooks Online user, go ahead and drop down into the comments below. Let me know. Do you use QuickBooks Online? Do you want to use QuickBooks Online? Does QuickBooks Online make you want to have a panic attack? Do you want to poo poo in your pantalones every time you log into QuickBooks Online? Then we might need to talk. Okay. So, if you're new here, my name's Reagan. I am a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm a level 2 Pro Advisor. They used to call it advanced. It just means that I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to QuickBooks Online. Okay. I've been doing bookkeeping for almost 12 years now. Stephanie, welcome in. If you're here to learn, make sure you tap the screen and grab your daily heart me when you come in the room. We're talking about QuickBooks Online and the methods that I use to set up people's bookkeeping systems for their small businesses set up automations for them, and then teach them how to do their own bookkeeping, how to stay consistent with their numbers, right? Oh, what's happening over here? Um, Something is happening. Also, we have a viewer on YouTube. Welcome. Thanks for tapping. Um, so we talk a lot about QuickBooks. We talk a lot about bookkeeping. We talk a lot about small business finances and everything that has to do with that. While I don't prepare tax returns for my people, for individuals or businesses at this time, hi, Tax Dad. Oh, you're on YouTube now too. Haha. I need to make sure that I follow you back. Let me, Tax Dad, is the sound okay? Because I didn't even test it on the YouTubes. It's me. Um, but yeah, we talk a lot about accounting, bookkeeping. We talk some about tax implications for small business owners. Okay, good. I'm so glad it sounds great. um, but tax dad is the one that you're going to go to talk about taxes, I fear. But don't worry, he's just as much fun as I am. We have so much fun together when we're in each other's little chats. So, um, yeah, so anyways, welcome into all my new followers. And for the folks that are joining for the first time, or maybe they're joining the live for the first time, on my lives, I love to dive deep into the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit with you all. The Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is what I created for y'all to learn how to do your books, especially if you're a QuickBooks Online user. I work with folks who have a lot of anxiety and fear around their finances, who feel stuck, who feel like they don't have a decent system at all. Definitely not something that works for them. And we work on taking those little baby steps to get you to the place where your books are organized and you actually feel in control of your finances. Okay? That's kind of the goal here. We want you to feel better about your life. Overall, for sure, but at least, at the very least, when it comes to QuickBooks Online, I would like for y'all to feel less anxious, less like you want to poo poo in your pantalones. Okay? So, we got the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. Like I said on the TikTok live, you will find that tagged here in the shop. Otherwise, you know the place to go to find the things, right? I don't have to tell you where to go to look for stuff. Although I still do have people commenting all the time. They're like, how can I work with you? Bestie, how do you work with anybody that you find online? Where would you go to find things online? Google. Or if you're commenting on one of my videos, you can just tap on my profile picture and go to the place to see what's going on. Okay? But that's all right. We do hand holding over here. I know that people have a lot of anxiety and fear about their finances and about QuickBooks Online specifically, so I don't mind answering all of your questions. There are no questions that are too silly or stupid or that I wouldn't address. Okay, nothing's off limits. That being said, I can't do everything. I can't do everybody's bookkeeping. I can't do it all for y'all. Okay? Being a business owner does involve having a little bit of agency and a little bit of like, okay, I need to put on my big girl panties, pull them suckers up, and take care of business, right? And that's where the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit comes in. I teach you how to set up your QuickBooks Online company, teach you how to do your bookkeeping, and that goes for anybody. You do not need any accounting or bookkeeping experience whatsoever. I have people come to me that are CPAs, that are enrolled agents. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But I have people that have been doing bookkeeping and taxes longer than I've been alive come to me because I know about QuickBooks Online and they get very intimidated by QuickBooks Online. So I created the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit for y'all. You do not need to be a tax preparer or a bookkeeper or an accountant or have a business degree or anything like that. I created the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit for the lay people. That's all of y'all watching right now. You're a lay peoples. And we don't use big fancy words. We don't use accounting terminology that I haven't explained to you first. Okay. We create a bookkeeping system for you and your business that actually works with your life, that is based on how you operate, okay? That uses the language that you use every day in your business, day to day in your business, so that when you're reading your reports, you know what the hell you're looking at. You can actually make sense of your numbers, okay? So if you've tried things before that said, "Oh, this is basic and anybody can do it," blah blah blah, you haven't tried my Bookkeeping Foundation Kit yet. Okay. That's linked here. When you purchase it, you get the workbook shipped to you and you get a 30-day free trial inside my community. You get videos step by step walking you through how to set up QuickBooks Online and how to do your books and how to stay consistent with it. So, so important that you wind up that the result is not books that are just done and pretty and tied up in a bow. The result that is important to me is that you know what you're doing, you know how often you need to be doing it, you know where to go and what to click, and you feel just a smidge more in control of your money. All right. Questions, comments, let me know what type of business you have in the comments below, and maybe we could walk through a little scenario and together walk through what it looks like to set up a bookkeeping system for different types of businesses. So let me know in the comments what type of business you have. Are you service industry person, contractors, tradesmen, retail, right? What do you got going on? And we could talk about it and talk about how we set up a bookkeeping system for different types of businesses. And this is exactly what we do in the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit step by step. Okay. Hi, Paper Seasoning. So good to have you here. How are you, friend? Um, I don't have my quilt to show you. Sorry. Wish. It's over there. It's on my dining room table and I do need to bind it. But it is a king size quilt and I do fear for my life with that thing. But it's quilted, it's just ready to be bound, which means I need to sit down and do that part of it. Maybe this weekend. Maybe this weekend. Yeah, it's a big one because I have a king size bed. And I was like, you know what? I'll make a king size quilt. Never again. We're never doing that again. The quilts that I'm making from now on will be full bed size or smaller. Okay? We're not doing a king size. No, ma'am. No. I wasn't able to figure out how to pull the monthly payments. Jen with two N's. Um, can you remind me what you're talking about? Or have you left a comment before that you're referencing? Oh, gotcha. Okay. Um, I don't. So why do you need a monthly report? Let's back up to that. Why do you need a monthly report of payments? Thank you so much, Paper Seasoning, for getting your daily hurt me. Um, because if you're trying to do your taxes, what you need is a profit and loss statement that shows your total income for the year and the expenses that you're going to be deducting on your tax return against your income, right? So, monthly earned income. So, why are you not pulling a profit and loss by month? Can you run a profit and loss for the entire year and then group the columns by month so that you can see income by month? When in doubt, I always go with the profit and loss. I know QuickBooks has a bunch of other uh, reports. Just go with the profit and loss, right? Um, by service date. On your profit and loss, if you are running a profit and loss on a cash basis, it will show you the income as of whenever the invoices were paid. So if you invoiced somebody in July and you received the payment for that invoice in September and you deposited it in September. Thank you so much for reposting the live. Um, your profit and excuse me, your profit and loss for September will reflect that income, even though the invoice was dated for July. That is a cash basis accounting. If it's set to accrual, it will show the income for invoices paid, but as of the invoice date. So when you're looking at the profit and loss, when you're looking at almost any report in there, at the top, you're going to see this little toggle button that says cash and accrual, ACCRUAL, cash and accrual. You need to toggle it over to the cash accounting method. The cash accounting method takes into account income as of the date that it is received, not when it was invoiced, because those can be two wildly different dates, as a lot of us in the services industry know. Sorry, y'all. I've been having a lot of asthma issues since I had the flu at the beginning of the year. So it kind of sucks to breathe right now. But yeah. Thank you so much for the follow, Evelyn. Um, so when in doubt, switch that puppy over to cash. When you're looking at your reports, make sure that you're looking at it on a cash basis. And that option is at the very top of the report where you change the dates and everything. You will see a button that says cash or accrual, and you need to toggle it over to a cash basis accounting method. For some of y'all, it's going to be default to that. But when in doubt, make sure that you check that it is run on a cash basis. Okay? So, when you run a report on a cash basis, let's say you're running your profit and loss for 2025. You want to look at all of your income, all of your expenses for 2025. We run a profit and loss report, also known as the P&L, and you can run it for all of 2025. You can ask QuickBooks to sort that report to where you see each month in a separate column. So you can look at your income and expenses by month on the same report. But we want to look at our reports. Most of y'all that come to me are going to be a cash basis accounting. Okay. I rarely have clients come to me that are on accrual basis or need to be on accrual basis. Unless y'all are making like $25 million a year, you do not need to run your reports on an accrual basis. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing the live. Appreciate y'all. So when we run our P&L for 2025, we can sort each column by month so that we can look at our month by month income and expenses for 2025. But if we have our report set to cash accounting, that means that the numbers we see for January, February, March, etc., are based on the payments that we received in those months when they were paid and the expenses that happened during those months too. Okay. This is more important for those of you that are invoicing out of QuickBooks and receiving payments in QuickBooks. That's going to make more of a difference for you than the expense side of things, because not a lot of folks are doing, even if you're invoicing people, you're probably not tracking your bills and you probably don't have accounts payable with like your vendors. Okay. But you probably do have invoices going out to your clients and they're sending in payments. And sometimes the payment comes quite a bit later than the, the day the invoice went out. Okay. So we have cash basis accounting. That means your reports, the numbers that you're looking at on your reports, are going to be when you actually got paid that money. That income is reporting what you were actually paid during that time period. If you're on accrual, you're only going to see invoices that were paid, but as of the date of the invoice. So if you invoiced somebody in January, and they paid in March on an accrual basis, once that invoice gets paid, you're going to see that income in January because that's the date of the invoice. On a cash basis, you're going to see that income in March because that's when the payment came in. Does that make sense? I said a bunch of words. We're using accounting terms, and so people are probably like, "Oh, slow down." If I need to slow down or explain something again, please leave a comment below. Okay? But that's generally the difference between cash and accrual basis accounting. For those of y'all that are in my community, which Jen, you are in the community, we do have a tutorial on the difference between cash and accrual accounting. Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense, Evelyn. Um, so if you are in my community already and you are on either a lifetime plan or you pay the $7 a month plan, you'll have access to all of the video tutorials that I've done. And I know I've done one. It's either a Q&A or it's a monthly tutorial on cash versus accrual accounting and kind of like showing you the difference between those two. So Jen, if you're trying to run a profit and loss or like an income report by month, make sure that you're running it on cash basis so that you're seeing only the income that you actually made, like people send in their payments and you deposited their money into your account. That's on a cash basis that it's going to show you that. Okay. Good questions, everybody. Um, if you have any other questions or requests about cash versus accrual basis, go ahead and join the community if you're not already in there and leave a question in there. That allows me to gather up questions. And next week, I will be doing a live Q&A inside the community. The live Q&As are recorded and free members have access to those replays. So there's an archive of Q&A calls that I've done in there. Um, but if you leave your questions in the community, free members, paid members, lifetime members, um, you can leave your questions in there, and I kind of gather them up all month to answer in the Q&A call every month, so that there's kind of like one place to go to see what questions people have been asking and the answers to those questions. Does that have any effect on payments to deposit? Okay, payments to deposit is a bucket. In your QuickBooks Online, you have an account called Payments to Deposit, or it might be called Undeposited Funds. Okay, it's the same thing. It is a bucket. In QuickBooks Online, whenever you receive a payment from a client, it needs to go in that bucket. So, payments to deposit means that a client has paid their invoice and you have received their payment. You have their payment in hand. So, you've got a check, or maybe they issued a payment through Zelle and you're just waiting it to clear your account. So it's kind of like a little holding area. If you have like a little one of those little zipper pouches that the banks give to businesses where they can like put their checks and payments and stuff when they're going to go make a deposit, they just put it in that little zipper pouch. That's what undeposited funds is, or payments to deposit, same thing. So when you receive a payment on a cash basis accounting, the date that you received the payment, the date the invoice is marked as paid, is when you see that income. That's on cash basis. Okay. So payments to deposit, not necessarily having anything to do with cash versus accrual, because it's just a little holding bucket where your payments go before you indicate which checking account they went into. So, Jen, your question, um, I know we had, yeah, no, you're fine. I know that like you had some instances where, and this happens for a lot of business owners, and it's not just, I'm not just clocking your tea on online. Sometimes people get a payment from a customer and they like deposit it to their personal checking account rather than a business account just on accident, right? They maybe hit the wrong button on the ATM screen or whatever. Or if they're doing a mobile deposit, they choose the wrong account to put it into. Okay. So when we're using QuickBooks to mark invoices as paid, this helps us out. Using payments to deposit helps us out because we can say, okay, the payment has come in, but then I need to tell QuickBooks which account to put it in. So if I accidentally put it into my personal checking account when I was doing the mobile deposit or the ATM deposit, no problem, right? In QuickBooks, I would just say, okay, well, this payment came in, it went to payments to deposit, and now I have to go tell QuickBooks, okay, this is going in this checking account over here. A lot of the times I see folks depositing payments directly to their checking account. And if you are a business that accepts multiple types of payments, you have a Venmo, you have a PayPal account, you have Stripe, you have QuickBooks payments, you accept check and cash payments from customers and clients. We really need to get in the habit of using undeposited funds or payments to deposit to receive our payments to. That way, if it goes into the PayPal account or it goes into the Venmo holding account or it was processed through Stripe first before it was deposited to your checking account, we use undeposited funds or payments to deposit as that little bucket, that little holding area to help us out so that our bank account doesn't end up totally out of whack. Okay. So, payments to deposit or undeposited funds, that account, we want to be using that account. That is the proper way to record payments from your clients. People are like, "What are you talking about? I put that money in my checking account. Why do I have to put it on deposited funds? It's been deposited." Blah, blah, blah." I understand what happened in real life. Trust me, when you get a payment, it don't sit there for long before it gets deposited. I know. I'm a business owner too. Okay. So, what happened in real life? Fine. In QuickBooks, I want y'all to put your payments into undeposited funds. I want you to put your payments into payments to deposit. When you receive that payment, when you mark an invoice as paid, we deposit it to that little bucket first. And then when we are on the bank account and we're looking at our transactions, we can actually match our bank deposits to the correct customer payments. And again, if you are accepting a bunch of different payment methods from clients and customers, that's fine. But I'm trying to make y'all's lives easier. Okay. I promise. Follow me. Do what I say. I'm trying to help y'all develop some of these good accounting habits so we don't wind up with huge cleanup jobs and bank account balances that look crazy in there. And suddenly it's tax season and we're scrambling and we're having a panic attack, right? We don't want that to happen anymore. So that's why we use payments to deposit or undeposited funds in QuickBooks. Fun fact, QuickBooks Online just gave y'all the option to not do that. And I think that was the worst mistake they have ever made because QuickBooks Desktop only receives payments to undeposited funds. QuickBooks Desktop does not allow you to receive a payment directly to the checking account. So I don't know why they gave QuickBooks Online users the ability to change that because it has effed up people's books. Literally, that's like the one thing that I see all the time that people are doing. So much so that I built a whole class around it. And that is also linked in my profile. Um, that's called the Fix Your Bank Balance class. And that is in my shop. That's in my shop. Um, so if you are one of those people that's logging in QuickBooks Online and you're like, Reagan, it says I have $1 million in my checking account, and that's not how much money's in my account in real life. Maybe you need to sign up for that class, friends. Okay. um, if your bank account looks really wrong in QuickBooks, you would probably benefit from that class. But for the rest of y'all who aren't even there yet, you don't even know what you're doing in QuickBooks enough to be messing stuff up, get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. Literally, those are the basics, those are the foundations that I want everyone to understand and everybody to have access to. We got to be on the same page about how we're doing our bookkeeping so that I can help you whenever you book a training or we do a cleanup job or we get into some more advanced accounting concepts. I know some of y'all want to get there. Reagan, I want a budget. Reagan, I need to do forecasting and planning. I know, but we have to do the basics first. I need you to have reports that are accurate before we can talk about a budget. Okay, please, please get your books right so that we can look at your reports and you can set goals in your business. What a concept. Um, my asthma is really flaring up because I've been yapping for like 40 minutes. Uh, so I probably am going to jump off here. But before I go, just want to make sure everybody understands that there is the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, which should be the entry point. Thank you so much, Beth, for following. That should be the entry point for everybody. If you're a QuickBooks Online user, do not scroll out of here until you get the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. Okay, go ahead and add it to cart. Um, that is the entry point for everybody. We need to establish the basics, the foundations on how we do bookkeeping over here. Amazing, Jen. Um, we got to get that level, that base level, level 1 first, right? That's the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. From there, we could set up a training together and we can talk about some processes and procedures and tools that would be really useful for your business, right? But we got to get that base layer done first. We need accurate reports and bookkeeping. The way that I do it is how you make sure that your books are accurate. So that's the entry point. And then we have the community, which I know some of you watching are inside the community. I just pulled the name for the winner of the quarterly challenge. So every quarter, I gather up people's names in the community, those folks that have joined calls, asked questions, participated, something like that. I throw everybody's names into the little spinny wheel on the Googles and it picks a name for me. So I just posted the winner of the quarter 4 challenge. The next time I pull will be in April. So you've got plenty of time to set up your account in the community and whatchamacallit, get entered to win the quarterly challenge. Okay. So Um, set up your account. That is free to do, linked in my profile. If you purchase the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, though, you get a 30-day free trial in the paid level of the community. So you get an archive of tutorial videos, Q&A videos. We have office hours with me on Zoom twice a month. We do Q&As together. And of course, you have many more opportunities to win the quarterly challenge. So when you win, you get a free training with me. That's 2 one-hour Zoom sessions with me where we work inside your QuickBooks Online. You do not have to pay anything to enter to win. You just need to be a member of the community and you need to do the things to engage and to show up. That's it. Okay. If you have any other questions, my DMs are available. I try to respond to DMs quickly. I respond quicker to messages and comments inside the community. If you leave a comment on one of my videos, asking a specific question, chances are I will be able to respond to your comment with a video walking you through some step-by-step stuff or explaining a concept that you're asking about. So comments and DMs are always welcome, but you'll get a quicker response from me. You might even get some input from the other community members on what works best for them. And so that's why I'm facilitating the community so that we all have that place to gather and to learn together and to be a little bit more organized and in control of our finances, right? That's what we want. Okay. So before I completely lose my breath, um, the asthma is kicking my butt today. So I'm going to jump off. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tapping the screen, hitting that follow button, sharing the live out. I appreciate y'all so much. And I will see you over in the community. Thanks. Bye. And done. And then see y'all later, YouTube.